Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Yak Gadget. For all your kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com. Pelican cases, coolers, and lighting. Go to pelican.com. The 153 Bait Company. For all your hard and soft bait needs, go to the 153anglers.com. Now let's get this show started. Fantasy Kayak Fishing Live. Woo!
Wow!
Bro, where did you come from? I got a cat on my desk.
Get that pussy off your table.
Just came out of nowhere. It's my little homie. But welcome back, guys and gals. Fantasy is getting updated. The 10 was just announced, all the winners. Exciting week down at Kissimmee, Florida to kick the season off. Always an exciting time. Not super exciting for me, but I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But I know a lot of people had a rough time this past weekend, but it's been cool. It's been interesting. If you guys and gals aren't signed up for the fantasy game itself, I'll drop a link down in the chat. You guys can still get signed up. If you haven't heard of the new format, I guess we could talk about that real quick, right, Dan?
Do an overview. Well, how it's going to work, you've only missed 1 week, so that's a good part. You haven't missed much. You can still jump in. But the best part is, last year we did you set a team and that was it. This year is different, where you set a team for every event, or you can leave them all season if you want to. That wouldn't be the best idea, because people don't fish every weekend at every national event. So every week you update your roster, so it's something you want to follow. Like last week, you had KBF on Kissimmee, so you wanted to pick people that were just fishing that event. So you would go to it. Last week was Tourney X. Go there, see who's fishing. You
Fishing
have
Chaos.
Fishing Chaos. There you go.
I get confused all the time too.
I know. So you have what did I even say?
You said Tourney X.
Oh yeah. So you have a salary. So how much money you can spend on anglers. So like Guillermo is most expensive because he won the most money last year. All the points are based on how much on actual tournament winnings from last year. And that's everybody who was loaded into the system last year. 300 plus anglers, everybody who cashed a check with a national level event. This year it's Helbig, KBF, and
Bass.
Their events. Next year we'll look at adding more. But every week you change your roster, you get points. Your roster will unlock after the event ends, usually on Monday. This week it's a little bit different. It's Thursday. It's tonight.
It's tonight.
Okay.
It'll get unlocked.
Yeah, tonight it's going to unlock because we're waiting on the results at 10. So every week you change your anglers, you get points. At the end of we're doing 4 quarters. At the end of each quarter, you can win prizes from wonderful sponsors like Pelican, hard cases, and coolers, or Yak Gadget, making accessories for everything on the kayak. So that'll either be each quarter or at season long.
Yep.
You can win prizes that way too. So prizes coming. You want to get signed up, call up your buddies, start it. You can start a group with your friends, do side pot for money, get crazy, do what you want to do.
Also, when we're going to talk about next weekend, Lake Fork, the Bass event, on that list, if you see an angler that's signed up for the Bass event and you're like, that's a local hammer, I got my buddy I'm rooting for, my son, my daughter, whoever it may be, and you want them on your roster and they're not on that list.
Let's be honest. It's probably somebody who's fishing.
You can email fantasykayak@gmail.com. And we can add that person to the roster. Shout out to everybody that sent us some names before this weekend's event for the KBF event. We had quite a few names added. Shout out to Randy Newton, runs Kayak Anglers of Florida. So Florida, right? Is it KF?
KAF.
KAF. I always get KFL and KAF confused. But he sent in a whole list of anglers that were guys that fish his tournament league and, knew would do good down there at Kissimmee. And what it allows us to do is create this huge database of anglers that fish national events. So if you guys want to get in on that or have somebody added, you could email that. Susie adds it. You just better get it in before Friday when registration or picking your team closes. So that way it gives her ample amount of time to get it updated on Fantasizer. So just wanted to throw that out there, man. And yeah, if you guys aren't signed up yet, get in there. It's totally free. Get in on the action. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. John, and if you have any questions, I'm sure you can either message me or Brian, and we'll be happy, or just the Paddle and Fin page, and we'll be happy answering any questions if you don't understand something.
Absolutely. And I know somebody had emailed stating that the spreadsheet on the Paddle and Fin site was down. I re-updated that, so it should be back up and rolling. I thought it was an issue because sometimes when you look at it on your cell phone, you got issues scrolling. It is easier to look at on desktop, but you can still look on it on your phone, iPad, things like that. But it is back up for all the events and caches from last season. And believe it or not, Lake Fork's on there. We're going to talk about that coming up. Obviously, Kissimmee was on there from last season. So should be good stuff, man. Should be good stuff.
I'll tell you what, looking at the rosters for the two events coming up, especially Hobie, like, there's a lot of discussion between, not to put down Bass or KBF, but if you look at, not only did they max out, but man, that Hobie, if a trail is as good as the people fishing it, like in terms of Bass Elite, the Elite Series, or MLF.
Yeah.
Hobie's,
well, this is the first time a Hobie completely sold out an event, correct?
Yeah,
come close a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're going to see that throughout the season, which is cool. I know you did the Reel Down show, which released today, and I was listening to that earlier. And you had some big names on that show that fish all these different events and have won national championships and all that good stuff, man. And it was pretty cool to hear all those guys talk about how excited they are at the fact that Hobie events are selling out. And not only that, man, let's not take away from this weekend, right? Like KBF had an amazing turnout, like 150 anglers all going to Florida in January.
And Bass. The Bass event in Texas, that has what, over 152, right?
It's currently at 156 anglers.
Yeah. So I'm not putting down either one. I think I was just the quality of people. There's bigger names fishing the Hobie event.
Sure.
I don't know what that means, but
it means it's going to be some stiff competition. But
3 events in 3 weeks, and there's almost all of them have 100. They all have 150 plus. That's by far the first. Not even close to the first time that's ever happened. So, yeah,
for sure.
Everybody talking about the sport growing. It happened. We're here. The future is now.
I love it. Well, let's jump into Kissimmee, man. Kissimmee, whatever it is. I'm gonna pull up the results, and we'll start with the 2 trail events, Trail 1 and 2. Lot of talk. Guillermo flies into town, and wasn't he on like a
Hobie iTrek?
Yeah, a SUP, right? A stand-up paddleboard.
Which he does fish off of a Diablo, which I have, and he must be much better because I don't win anything on my Diablo, and he wins all the money on it. But a Diablo is pretty. It's a paddleboard.
Yeah. Pretty spectacular. That was the talk of day one for sure.
Yeah.
Just comes out, crushes, puts up 94.5 inches. And only wins by 1/4 of an inch, jumping ahead of Lloyd Hardy, which I believe Lloyd's a local down there, correct? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But I mean, regardless, and then going down the list, third place, Robert Brown, 91.5 inches, Adam Patron, 91, Christine Fisher, fifth place, 87.25, Jason Broach, 87 inches, Jonathan Richardson, 85, Garrett Wade, 85, Dominic Cruz, 83, and Matt Voigt, 82.75.
And Jonathan Richardson, I mean, he came from like Maine, I think. So
that's awesome.
I think him and his wife Judy. I think there might be two John Richardsons. I'm not sure, but I think that's him and his wife are like a fish and power couple.
Okay, right on. Yeah. I dig that. Well, I mean, let's talk about this, right? Because I was there for day one, and I got into town Wednesday afternoon. Weather was beautiful. Well, it was kind of crappy on Wednesday. It started raining a little bit Wednesday, but it got up to like mid upper 60s. And then Thursday, Friday was like 70 degrees, a little overcast, sun poked out on Friday. And then come Saturday morning, 20 to 25 mile an hour, sustained winds, gust up to 40, bright sunshine. But like, I think the temperatures when we launched were like 34 degrees, something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people struggled, including myself.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys, like especially in my area, we got blown out of our spots. A lot of guys were resorting to fishing in the marinas, getting out of the wind. There was a big boat tournament going on at the same time, so we had a bunch of boats in there too, and it was just a lot of shoulder to shoulder combat fishing, so to speak. So I'm sure those guys found protected areas out of the wind, stacked up with fish. I think you had it was Robert Brown on that round table, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was leading for a while.
And he was throwing a chatterbait or a swim jig?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's known for throwing a jig, so probably a jig.
Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't say what he was throwing. I don't think.
I believe Russ said he was throwing a swim jig as well, too, right?
Oh yeah, it was Robert. Yeah, he said he was throwing a swim jig, and then I don't know. Russ at the end just said that's one of his favorite baits. But
okay,
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, Robert said he was throwing a swim jig. That's right.
And he was fishing kind of close to Guillermo, wasn't he?
I know he was fishing close to Mike Elsey for sure.
Oh,
but
Elsey. Okay.
I think he just wanted to beat him. Like he got upset that he didn't win. Like he was disappointed. You get third and you're a little disappointed, but not that you know what I'm saying.
I mean, he was only 3 inches out of it, or out of tying Guillermo. So yeah, I could be upset with that too.
I mean, if you catch 91 inches,
yeah,
in Florida, I mean that's great, but you definitely
in those conditions though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. You definitely
because
can't feel secure with 91 inches in Florida.
Right. Well, in those conditions, like I told myself if I caught 5 fish, I'd be in pretty good shape because I think day one there was only 24 or 25 limits caught.
Oh, really? Wow.
And I think half the field zeroed, if my memory serves me correct.
That's always how it is. You look at the leaderboard and like, oh, it wasn't that bad of a day, but then you scroll down a little bit further and it's just just desolation.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. It was brutal. But I mean, I figured 5 fish would definitely put you up there in like the top 30, because I mean, just the talk of town at the ramps, like everybody was kind of struggling. And I know going into that event, going down there, a good friend of mine that has fished many times before, he told me, what the problem with the Kissimmee Chain is everything looks good. Everything looks like it should hold fish, which when I got there, I realized exactly what he was talking about. And areas you think would hold fish definitely weren't holding fish. So it was kind of crazy, but huge shout out to those guys in day one. And then going into day two, the temperature dropped even more, and I believe it was like 25 degrees in the morning when everybody took off. And there wasn't a bunch of wind, but guys came out and just hammered them. I mean, we got Cody Henley, 97 3/4 inches for first place. Cayman Rasmussen, 91.5, tied Jason Broach with 91.5. Josh Sharp, 87 inches. James McClurkin, 86 inches. A name we haven't heard in a while, Dylan Fuqua, comes out of retirement, the kid, and puts up 83.5 for sixth place. Adam Petrone, 83 1/4. He had a nice 2-day finish, fourth and seventh. The Fluke Master himself put up 83 inches. Ninth place, Tim Isaacs with 82 3/4, and Jim Williams with 81 3/4 as well. Yep. So
good day,
man. Just hammering on him. So, which takes us into the first 2-day event of the weekend, which was the 10-vitational. 1 and 2, a lot of those guys and gals that you saw in those trail numbers were in the 10-vitational trying to work their way into the 10 house. Robert Brown, obviously, we saw he took third day one, Trail Series 1, but in the 10-vitational, he was leading with 91.5. But he didn't have the best day 2. So the overall for the 10-vitational, first place, Jason Broach gets into the 10 house. Cody Henley takes second.
Barely, but yeah, I mean, Cody was already in the 10 house, so he almost kept Jason out. But I guess being a fisheries biologist or whatever kind of fish scientist he is, he just just talked to him and figured it out.
Adam Petrone took third in the 10-vitational. John DeCencio took fourth. McClurkin was in the 10 house as well. We'll get to the 10 in a second. He took fifth. Garrett Wade, sixth. Mr. Dusty Yacker, Chicago legend, seventh place, and Matt Voigt in eighth place. And then the Pro Series is back. They had over 40 entries, I believe it was, for that, which is huge. Jason Broach wins the first Pro Series event of 2022 with 178.5 for his 2-day total. Cody Henley behind him, Adam Petrone, David Fields, John DeCencio. So pretty stacked leaderboard, which is pretty killer, man.
Yeah. And then do you have the results for the 10 right there?
The 10, I know the top 5. Susie had just texted me and said Fantasizer's updated.
All right.
I'm gonna get that pulled up here. But what I can tell you is the top 5, which was
the results aren't posted yet.
They weren't.
The fantasy.
Hit refresh.
I did. Yeah, not yet. And it might take a little bit for the Fantasizer system to accept them.
Or to refresh that could be too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it.
Right. Yeah, first place was Cody Henley. Second was
Jimmy McClurkin.
Third, Joshua Stewart. Which you figure with tough conditions, it was only going to get better for him. Fourth. Do you know who fourth was? Garrett Wade? Is that who it was?
Brandon Bissell.
And then fifth, that was Garrett Wade, right?
No, that was Russ Snyder's.
Well, Russ. I had Garrett on my fantasy as well. I was hoping he was on there. Yeah, Russ came back. He had 4. He was on the show last night, and he had 4 fish, and came back and sacked him up today. So good for him.
Well, and that was one thing when I was watching the results. What do you call it? The Chad was talking about. He shut the leaderboard off a little too early because he as soon as he shut it off, rust started coming back on a tear. So it was pretty cool.
Cool.
I am showing when I go to stats, the totals are updated. So, but it's not organized in order. So I'll just scroll through. So Adam Patron, $2,571. Brandon Bissell, $3,000. He takes home for the week. Casey Reed, $352. Cayman Rasmussen, 2,840. Charles Miser, 361. Cody Henley takes home a whopping $18,643 because he won the 10.
Good job, bud. You were on my team.
Oh, Susie says
he was cheap too. I think he was only $5,000. That was a sneaky good pick there.
Susie's telling me to click on arrows and it'll sort, but don't see that option here. Cody Milton, $1,000. He was in the 10, so he took a G home for that. David Fields, $1,333. Dominic Cruz, $499. Dusty Yacker walks away with $670. Dylan Fuqua, $756. Garrett Wade, $2,075. Gene Jensen cashes a check for $558. Guillermo for his first place Trail Series win, $5,157.
Nice.
Jason Broach takes home $10,215.
I swear I actually, whenever I saw he was available, I went back and my strategy is I wanted to pick people that were in the 10 house because I knew they were getting a check. And I went back and I wanted to put in Jason. I seriously wanted to put in Jason, and I couldn't because I didn't want to give up one of the 10 guys. But man,
I hear you.
I had a feeling that dude's so good. He's so good.
He is. Yeah. Okay, Jason Broach had Big Bass for the 10, so his total goes up 500. Susie's updating that right now. Jim Williams, 415. Jimmy McClurkin takes second place in the 10. Walks home with 6,326 for the weekend. Nice. John DeCencio, 1,274. Jonathan Richardson, 696. Josh Stewart, $4,100. Joshua Sharp, 876. Christine Fisher walks home with 798 for that fifth place finish. Lloyd Hardy, 1855. Matt Voigt, 426. Matthew Scotch for being in the 10 house takes home $1,000. Along with Mike Elsey, $1,000.
All right, Mike.
Man, we got a lot of anglers on here. Robert Brown, 984. Russ Snyders goes home with $2,342.
There you go. Take your new girlfriend out, Russ.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. A little steak dinner action.
We were talking about last night. Sorry.
Tim Isaacs, 490, and that is it. So those are your current points. Let me see if I can get game log up. Nope, not the game log. Leaderboard. Let me see if I can get that to refresh.
I wish I could show it. The Fantasizers, they're advertising me some full-figured lady clothing. I don't know if everybody gets that. It's just for me, but there's some thick girls on a Fantasizer.
We'll get that up. I know we got quite a few teams signed up. And again, if you guys aren't signed up, you can still sign up going into this next week. But next show we'll get kind of standings updated, because we'll have 3 events under our belt at that point, 3 weekend events, and that'll be almost halfway. It'll be pretty much a quarter of the way through quarter 1. So I think we'll go over those team standings, and we'll get some folks up to date. We'll get some of our leaders in there, and chat with them and what their strategy's been picking their guys going into the events. So should we hop over to Lake Fork then, man?
Yeah, man, let's talk about it. The water is down, and it's going to be the frozen tundra of Texas. If people can even drive to if they can even get there, there's a lot of over on KBN, people are very concerned that they can't even drive to the event, and they want it to be canceled.
I drove through 4 inches of snow this morning on the interstate. If I can handle that, you guys can handle getting to Texas.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it last year they had a cold front blowing down there in Texas? Was it the Fork event? I forget.
I know for the Hobie Watts bar, it was like freezing, and they had they started the event later in the day. Apparently, Bass being a little, they don't care, hey, we're starting on time, whether it's cold or not. You done signed up. You fishing or you're not. I think it's tough to say. If I saw a big giant snowstorm coming out, I didn't think I could get out of the Midwest in time, I might would have went down a day early. I might would have taken an extra vacation day and went down. I'm not saying, I'm not fishing it, so it's easy for me to say that. But,
sure. Well, obviously this is on Tourney X. We mentioned earlier, 156 anglers signed up. The big talk is that the water is low. I know I saw some photos where you don't see any stumps, and now there's thousands of stumps out of the water. I know the weather is going to play a factor in this one as well. Springtime, you always got that. But I know, just seeing some of the guys I follow on social media down there, fish are pretty schooled up, it seems like, down on Fork. So, getting into fish shouldn't be an issue. I think you're going to see a lot more limits caught down there, and a lot bigger limits than what you saw at Kissimmee. You agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so.
Nice. 2-day event.
I mean, Texas fish are just, they might be equal size to Kissimmee. Kissimmee gets so much pressure, but so is Fork. But Fork just has the habitat where I would say a little bit better than what Kissimmee is, and not maybe Texas fish aren't quite as sensitive, temperature sensitive as what Florida fish are. At least they're known to be. So same strain, but different areas. So
makes sense. Got some familiar and big names on this list signed up.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Edwards, Possum Kingdom,
Goat Whisperer.
Yeah. Jason Broach.
Joshua Deal won a Hero on Pickwick, the bass event last year.
Okay.
Lance Burris, he's one of the best in the Midwest.
Got Jamie Broad signed up.
Yeah. Josh Carter, a couple of you're even going to have two of the old One Objective guys getting out there and mixing it up.
Heck yeah,
Jim Davis, winner of the Logan Martin Bass event, the first inaugural bass event. Brian Delahunty, he's like a sneaky good pick, because I've got my top 5 picks, but Brian Delahunty, I think this is really going to be a finesse. You really, it's going to be tough to catch fish, and he's definitely a really, really good finesse angler. So
you got Catherine Field, Christine Fisher, you got the ladies in there.
Keith Freeze, Keith. Silas Garrett, he's a hammer.
Man, we got guys coming over from New Mexico. Guillermo won it last year, or Nate Gloria won it last year, I believe. Right?
Yeah. I'm not sure who won it last year, but you can't argue with people being all hot streaks. So yeah, Guillermo coming in, he's hard not to choose if you want to spend that much money on one angler.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the spreadsheet from last year, because I was looking at it earlier, and I want to say it was Nate Gloria won last year. Get this pulled up. But last year it was in March. So let's see where we're at. So last year, Guillermo cashed a check for $2,600. Christine cashed a check for $327, along with Cody Milton. Brian Howell cashed a check for $327. Nate Gloria $9,800. So I'm pretty sure he won. Last year, Joshua Deal cashed a check for $653. This is Justin Largan cashed a check for $4,247. So I believe that was second place. Lance Burris cashed a check for $2,940.
I didn't even know that, and I was already talking about him. How good he is.
Richie McMichael, $1,045 last year. Jeremy Brandis, $2,287. So he was up there.
We see you, Jeremy.
Jerry Cornelius, $1,960. Mason Good, $1,633. Travis Dawkins, $1,307.
Dawkins.
Paul Roth, $1,176. And it goes on. So if you guys are wondering where I got these numbers, you can go to paddleandfin.com/fantasy. There's a spreadsheet from all last year's events. A lot of lakes that these trail series are going to this year were at last year. So you guys can kind of go back and see who finished where. So, I mean, Guillermo being from Texas and the hot streak he's on, I kind of got him as a favorite to be up there.
I don't know who Kent Gross is, but I love that picture. So, he's a pick.
Cody Henley just won the 10. He's stopping on his way back to Utah to fish this event.
Watch out.
Might as well keep it rolling, bro. Brian Howell from Texas is signed up again. He did really well. Just scrolling through some of these names. Justin Largan again, back at it. Jonathan Lessman out of Alabama is going to be there.
Big John.
Mr. KBN himself, Jeff Malott. Jordan Marshall, the Hobie AOY, he's going to be there. Joe McElroy. He took, second in the Classic last year, right?
Yeah, both my team members on a KFL.
Nice. Richie McMichael, always a hammer in that area of the country. He's signed up. Garrett Morgan, there's your boy.
Hey, don't sleep on Rolando Nardine. I always mispronounce his name. That guy's he's got a good YouTube, but he's really good.
Nice. We got the O'Brien brothers. Who else we got? Justin Patrick, Mark Pendergraph. We talked about him. Cayman Rasmussen,
the best name in the game.
Just won some money down at the KBF events.
That's right.
Jake Schultz coming down from Illinois. That's one you shouldn't be sleeping on either. Matthew Scotch.
Yeah, back in Texas,
home state. Gonna mess some
Scotch,
stuff
Scotch up. Has to be like, because he's not at the highest of the fantasy dollars. He probably has to be like
the best value buy.
Yeah,
for this
best
week.
value. You should cash a check. Yeah, that'd be a great pick, no doubt.
So there you go, man. There you go. That's the Fork preview. I will drop this link in the chat as well, so you guys have it. And you guys can look it up as you're going through, picking your team, seeing who's signed up, and all that good stuff, man. But 150 anglers, so it should be a great turnout, great event. Like we said, man, probably some pretty killer limits caught too.
And a lot of drives destroyed.
Yeah. What's the over-under on Hobie fins being broken during that 2-day event?
50.
50? You think that many?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be.
I was gonna say like 15, but
Mariner sales, like, I mean,
just stocked up.
Yeah, they're going to make some money. Mariner sales down in Dallas, they need to bring a truck, just like a complete flatbed of like parts for drives, Old Town, Hobie, Field, whoever. But yeah, it's going to be an absolute massacre. And people with motors, oh man, they're going to be going fast,
ripping up props, getting thrown out of their kayaks.
Torpedo, please get down there, brave the icy roads, and bring them people some parts, because that innovative Sportsman rock guard is not going to be good enough whenever his people ram a stump. It's going to be bad.
Oh, I love
cold stumps. So the stumps are like extra hard because they're cold too.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, some folks are gonna be spending some money on some drives. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we can talk about it. I think we should go live before this event. Actually, we will go live right before the Hobie event.
No, because that's next week.
That's the 12th. Yeah,
and we go every other week. So
we got Toledo Bend.
Well, here I'll give a couple of other picks here.
Okay. Yeah.
I threw 5 names. Just I mean, I've already said a few of them, but I mean, these aren't necessarily the highest value people, but people I thought would be good picks. My Dan's picks of the week.
I like it.
Know. That was terrible. Yeah, we need the soundboard. Lance Burris, cash money last year. Brian Delahunty, I already said his name. Silas Garrett, Texas guy, absolute hammer. Cayman Rasmussen, like I said, best name in the game. I actually want to change my name to Cayman Rasmussen. And Nate Gloria, you said it. I had him picked. I didn't even know he won. So there you go.
There you go.
Those are my Dan's picks of the week.
I like it. I like it.
We
didn't have an event last year at Toledo Bend. I think it was a year before. It would have been 2020 was the last event there. But you can go back in Tourney X and find tournaments from those locations in their archives. So another good tool to know that you can go back and look at old tournament results and see some of these names on there and, see where they ended up and all that good stuff. So
you can also like search Facebook and see. I mean, if you're really into this and you want that Pelican cooler so bad, you can taste it because you need your beer to be cold. You go back on people's Facebooks. I really think like it seems like everybody stepped up their electronics game this year. And that's going to be such a huge player on Fork with Standing Timber. So I would be looking, I would definitely have my eye to people who have some kind of live target, live scope, pan optics, whatever. Even 360 would help, but that live targeting. I mean, you can see what Patrick Walters did on Fork in a bass event. He absolutely destroyed them with optics, or I think he runs all 3, whichever one he was running. But I'd be looking to the people who have some kind of live targeting. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I can't agree more with that. I mean, that's going to be a huge part of the game this year for sure.
Especially a Standing Timber leg that really seems like it would play well.
Look at our boy Lemon. I call him Lemon, but it's Lemon. Running 2 Lowrance units, one for live scope and the other one for side imaging and all that good jazz. So
yeah, if y'all haven't seen that, go and check out Bass Stump's YouTube page. He's that Bonafide P127. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so custom. That's the thing about his kayak.
It is.
It's so well. His shop has done it so well. It's so clean and so custom. Yeah, it's a hell of a setup.
I dig it.
Yeah, man.
I dig it. Well, moving into Toledo Bend, boys and girls. Let's pull up this current registration. Obviously, no more people can sign up. The Hobie events are capped at 200 anglers, and we got 200 anglers.
Yeah. Including Armando Salah.
Is he going to that event?
Yeah, he signed up, dude. He's on there.
I would not put any money on him winning anything. Just saying. If we were picking losers, he'd be the first one I put on my team. I'm just kidding. I love you, Armando.
He's definitely cheap.
Yeah. He's like quarter, 10 cents.
Yeah.
But a lot of great names in the game signed up for that event as well. A lot of them are going straight from Lake Fork over to Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
I know the Bacas.
I've seen so many people doing that. I see them on both lists. Man, that sounds like so much fun. Especially the people fishing all three. I want that life. I want that on the road kayak fishing life. I want a part of it. Jason Broach. God dog.
Got him in the mix. You gotta put him as one of your favorites.
Hey, Jared Brockman. Don't. I'm just saying.
Who's that?
He's not one of my picks for the week, but Gerald Brockman, he's legit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. All the Texas. It's funny. It seems like all the Texas people came like the legit. I mean, not that they weren't on the other one, but all the Texas Hammers signed up for this one. Brad Cates coming out of. He was injured. Now he's coming out to. I mean, he's a grass dude. Yeah. He would not be a bad pick.
That's his forte, man. Yeah, Jason Cassidy out of Indiana. That's a good name there. Alan Cox out of Texas.
Josh Counts. He won the first Hobie Seminole, and he's a grass fisherman. So
Brian Coyne has been on that AOY list for Hobie for the past couple of years. Wouldn't discount him out. That's a good guy to watch. Formerly from Ohio, now he's back in Wisconsin.
Christopher Delgado, I think he's Texas Slim.
Yeah,
he's got a Diablo with a motor on the front, just taking on water.
I don't know about this kid.
Bailey Eichbrett. There you go. Bailey is a good pick. I mean, there's a good chance he is absolutely legit as anybody else, and there's a good chance he can cash a check.
I agree. I like giving the kid a hard time.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be the first time he's seen. It's probably the first time he's seen Fork. That would be the negative against him. But I mean, that dude can.
This is Toledo Bend.
Yeah, Toledo Bend. I'm sorry.
You said Fork. But yeah, I know he fished. Was it Fork last year or Possum Kingdom? I forget.
I think he's fishing all Hobie. All the Hobies this year. Or
okay.
At least most of them.
Yeah. Catherine Field in the mix again. Yeah. Christine Fisher.
Keith again,
Cole Garland. Keith. That's a name you can't overlook. Was in what was it, California for a while. Won some big boat events out there.
Oh, Silas Garrett again.
Guillermo Gonzalez. I mean, this guy here, Michael Grimsley. That's a guy that's been getting into the electronics and always comes up with fish, man. I wouldn't count my man Mike out. Caleb Helbig. I think
I've got him on my picks of the week. Caleb Helbig. He's a Texas Hammer. I mean, he absolutely slays them. I mean, he wins trail events in Texas all the time, and he's legit.
Cody Henley staying on the road. He doesn't like Utah anymore.
It's his job now. He doesn't even care.
Oh, really?
He called his work. He just said, "I'm never coming back. This is my life now."
Really?
No, I don't know. But I mean, after you win 18 grand, you know.
Right? Brian Howell, another Texas Hammer.
Watch out.
Jeff Isham. That's a name that I would not discount whatsoever.
Dreadlocks and treble hooks. Watch out.
Yeah, you got it, man. Ethan Jett out of Tennessee. Blake Knight out of Texas.
We're passing so many great names too, so it's not like
right.
If we're not calling your name or picking you, we'll pick you eventually sometime this season. Don't get up. Don't. I don't want a message in my DMs. Somebody slide in my DMs. Hey Dan, you're a real a-hole for not picking me. I thought we were boys. Don't do that.
We got Mr. KBN himself, Mr. Ryan Lambert is signed up, ready to go. Dylan Lowry out of Georgia. That's a name I wouldn't overlook either. The other half of KBN, Jeff Malott, Jordan Marshall, reigning AOI. He's got to defend that title
on grass. I mean, that could be. There's some move. You look up at the north part of Toledo Bend. There's a lot of creeks. So I mean, this one's going to play a lot more where those creek guys and those river guys, they're going to have a lot better chance on Toledo Bend than what they would Fork.
For sure. Richie McMichael, Lance McCorder, Joe McElroy. I'm just like naming off some of these guys that have had some pretty killer finishes. Cody Milton. Now this is something to talk about. Nolan in Ewing Minor, the Minor brothers.
And you said like 2 people above that.
I mentioned Cody Milton.
Dirk Miller. Dirk Diggler. I don't know who that is. I just like the name.
Throw me off, man. Garrett Morgan out of Arkansas, another big name. That Rolando Nandine,
Fast Eddie Morris. Watch out.
Yeah, the Orr father and son duo. That's 2 names to be watching out for.
I'm gonna call my dad. We can go out there on the trail.
Pendergraph. Who else we got, man? There's so many good names in here. Cayman Rasmussen, there it is again.
That guy. Tim Rodman, watch out. X-Zone man, he going to catch him.
Matthew Scotch back in that mix as well.
Hey, Brian Scarberry, that good pick.
What do we got? Like a whole family of Smiths here?
Yeah, just
kidding.
They're popular. There
he is. Armando Salah.
Lord. Here we go.
Skip over that one. Josh Stewart heading there. Alan Sweat, good name from Florida. That's a guy you should watch out for as well. Garrett Wade.
Joey Vano catches him up in Minnesota. He's good. Jordan
Westerman.
Brandon Watson. He's here in Alabama and in Tennessee. He's a Tennessee River. He's somebody who could catch him.
Okay. Yeah. And we got Jason Willis from Louisiana in there as well. So 200 anglers, man. That's going to be a pretty stellar event. A lot of great names, and it's going to be interesting, man. It'll be interesting. So the Bass and the Hobie event are going to be 2-day events, and it could be anybody's game. Things change from day 1 to day 2. We saw that at Kissimmee, especially with the weather factors playing a role at Fork,
Yeah.
So
cool.
Right on, man. Yeah. Well, if you guys
I got a few more picks on for that week.
Okay. Dan's hot picks of the week.
Picks of the week. Have to figure something out. So for the Hobie event for next week, because you got 2 separate weeks that you can pick people. Remember, every week you're changing your roster to get your points and all that. I got Jason Broach, just coming off that win.
Yep.
Caleb Helbig, talked about him, Texas guy. Brian Howell, BDH. Jeff Isham, you said his name. Jordan Marshall, obviously, as legit as they come. Rolando Nadine, I always say that wrong. Tim Rodman and Brandon Watson. So those are my
picks. Dan's hot picks of the week. I'm gonna get something put together for this. This is gonna be great. I love it. We got Scott S in the chat. He says, "How the hell are you gonna pick out of all them great anglers?" That's what makes it tough. But no, man, I'm looking forward to it. Tell your friends, tell your girlfriends, tell your grandma to sign up for this fantasy kayak fishing game. It's gonna be awesome, man. I'm super stoked, and I'm looking more at these tournaments more and more as people are getting signed up. I'm trying to fish a couple events this year as well. So
I'm gonna have to get a couple. One of my picks of the week is going to be Dan. Is going to be me somewhere at some point. I'm getting in these.
Well, there's a couple events right around your neck of the woods, man.
There are. Yeah, get Gunnersville. I'm playing at KBF Gunnersville. I'll probably fish one KBF thing this year, and that'll probably be it. And
I got that on my list.
Yeah. Yep. Well, come on down. We'll stay together.
Well, there's one on Pickwick this year, isn't there?
Yeah, Bass Pickwick. I'll definitely fish that one too.
I
got a small
jam right there, right?
Last year. Yeah. I mean, I had 6 bites and caught 5, and it was
nice.
But it was
right on.
Like I was really disappointed. I'm still very disappointed with that performance because I love Pickwick so much. But yeah,
that's why they call it fishing and not catching, brother.
Yeah, I made my money back. It's all right.
That's the most important thing, man. Breaking even.
Yeah.
So, right on, man.
Yeah.
You got anything else before we wrap this up?
No, just thanks for listening and be safe out there, especially in Texas with them icy roads. It's going to be dangerous out there. Wear some extra clothes. Put a tire off the side of the road. I don't know. Yeah. Just make it to the ramp and be careful.
Cash in on your snow chains. Get those on for them icy roads.
Unless you're not on my fantasy team, and then you should stay at home because the roads are treacherous.
I love it.
Don't even go fish.
Catch them from your sofa. Yeah, but we'll be back 2 weeks from yesterday. We were gonna do this show every other Tuesday night live, and because of the 10, we went Wednesday this week. So we will see you guys in about 2 weeks. If you guys have any questions about the fantasy game, feel free to hit us up on Facebook, the website, or if you want some names submitted, fantasykayak@gmail.com.
And your picks will be unlocked either tonight or first thing in the morning. So get your picks for this week for the passive ones.
And they go back to being locked Friday night at 10 p.m. Central Time. So you got some time to get your picks in before the BASS event down at Lake Fork. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you guys playing the game, being involved, being in the chat. We appreciate you all. We'll see you next time. Peace.